Hey guys, Trigger Happy John coming at you with another Awaken Chaos Era video. On today's video, what we're going to be talking about is going to be kind of an account takeover. Our good friend Romper, he's been involved in the community as well as in the Discord. He messages me here and there for a little bit of help. Has agreed to kind of use his account as like a dummy template for kind of showing you guys what like an account takeover is, like kind of like the thought process behind looking at a fresh account, or just like taking a step back and looking at your own account to see, okay, where am I at in the game and where can I potentially progress to? All right, so like I said, this is Romper's account. Now notice he is level 54 at the moment. He's made some good progression. He has a good amount of champions. Let's go ahead and pull him up. Now this will be a good little adventure for me as well, because I don't do a whole lot of account takeovers, mainly because of the way you have to log into the accounts. It makes me a little uneasy. I do hope that moving forward, they come up with like a better login system, so that way we don't have to use your guys' like Google Play information or your Facebook information to log into your accounts. Like, you know, maybe a separate entity that just stays within Awaken Chaos Era. Who knows? Maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. But for now, I did have to log in via the Google information. And yeah, we were able to log into this account. We got it pulled up. Now let's kind of talk about a couple things here. Mainly, like, let's show you what he's got right now with champions, right? So this is what we're working with. And let's talk about a few things that could potentially happen and or ways to really progress this account. Okay, so we have Avera, we have Gangelo, we have Brand, we have Blackhorn, Tia, Sierra. We literally have probably the best legendaries to have for a mid-game account for sure. I would say mid, even to end game, because we do have the Gangelo, the Sierra, and the Avera. All three of those themselves are amazing, especially with that Brand and that Blackhorn. Like this, you can't really ask for a better lineup. And then if we come down here, he also has Savannah as well as Gubeg and Molhex. Molhex is going to be a must build for his account. Savannah would probably help him a lot with Doom Tower Hard potentially. But yeah, he definitely has some champions. But let's also talk. So let's just talk first about champions he has built and first impressions that I'm noticing on this account. Okay, so he's got these teams built, or these characters built. So this tells me, you know, he's got a, I don't know what his Queen of Tides team is, but he has the champions to do right here, like, you know, Queen of Tides, 12 fast runs, right? He could do almost any team right here, just with these three. He's got them 60. Okay, that checks that box. We have a Brand, we have a Blackhorn, we have a Vera as well. So that tells me, okay, he should be progressing pretty good in the bounty section and the Void Tower Hard. Okay, then we have Sierra and Tia. Okay, so this is really interesting. So we have a lot of 60s, and we even have some more 60s down here that could really potentially go up to making things even better. But he has strong characters. He has the makings of a very strong team. Oh, we have an Ice Wolf leveled up to 40. I bet you he's using the Ice Wolf comp. So let's go take a look at the next things on the account. So let's see. Okay, we have dungeons. Let's go into the Arcane Dominator. Okay, so it looks like he has not done Roaring Tulpa yet, all the way to 12. That hasn't been done. He's focused on Ash Magisteria and Queen of Tides. That's totally fine. Both are very viable areas. I do highly recommend you take your Queen of Tides all the way to 12 first. That way you can take this team and apply it to Tulpa to get you to 12, and you can even use this team and apply it to Witch of the Winds and almost get to 12. So it looks like we have some progression there. We can go ahead and we can advance him in the Witch of the Winds. We can get him a Gemini Dragon team because he does have Gangelo. It looks to me like if we tweak his Gangelo comp just a little bit here, he could really progress this account and get super far. That's my first initial impression. So let's see, we're gonna play with it and we'll come back and we'll see how far we actually got with it. Now, notice that as I went into this, guys, it is close to reset right now. We're about 2 hours away from reset. Take a look at this. This guy has used his keys, which is awesome. I love to see it. He's being efficient. He's not wasting resources. You know, he told me to log into the account. We're at 21 energy right now. And you know, for all I know, that's just what's accumulated from the time he told me to log in. So that's awesome. He's definitely utilizing his resources very, very well. Moving on, we have Bounty Hunt. Okay, so he's at 65 on the Bounty Hunt. So this means he's struggling just a little bit, or he just needs to kind of push it a little bit more. One of the two. Andre is not an easy like battle to face anyways. He's such a super hard single target nuker. But okay, so he's making progression. He's getting there. He's getting close to there. We're 15 away from clearing Bounty Hunt. Okay, what about Void Tower? Where we at? Okay, level 10 on Void Tower. Let's take a look at what the general team he's using. Okay, so he's using a Zatlux, Winstrix, and Afiliate, and a TA team. That's not bad. That's not a bad comp at all to run. So he's using speed, damage, and CC. Probably a pretty viable comp, to be honest with you, if I'm being honest. Okay, so he's got some things definitely going for him. I cannot fault this at all. You know, I'm excited. Let's dig into his count. Let's see where we can really get some improvements. Oh yeah, first another quick thing. Let's look at his guild boss. Let's see, battle, guild boss. Where is he at? This is Romper. Okay, so he is all the way down here. So he's just over the level 21 chest. So that's a little alarming. I feel like his account should be a lot higher than that. But I bet you we can get that fixed and we can get that adjusted. So yeah, stay tuned. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do like an account takeover, and we're gonna show you, obviously we just saw where we're at. And then I'm gonna show you where we're at when we're done. And yeah, that way you guys kind of have a good idea like what account takeover is, what I had to do to get to that point. And that way I can kind of share a little bit of light with you guys on like, okay, this is what was required to really progress in this content. All right, so I have played on our good friend Romper's account now for I think about an hour and a half so far. So I want to go ahead and wrap up this video and kind of tell you what things I noticed, see how well my initial thought process was on the account. So when I say that, like, I knew kind of what he was looking for going into the account takeover, but the thing is like I can only do so much. I can only work with what I'm given. With that being said, I literally was given, I mean, I have the champions. That's great. However, once I started digging into it, I don't have the gear because unfortunately, that's part of this problem is he needs to be able to get some of this gear, right? Like as we go through this here, you'll see some of this gear. It's not necessarily the greatest, and a lot of this is still like the beginning gear, right? Most of this is legendary. I mean, when you look at most accounts don't have all legendary pieces of gear. Another thing is a lot of those characters were geared good, but not necessarily the best way to really compete. So like, for example, we had his Zatlux had actually a lot more attack. His Zatlux was actually really built very, very well. Like I was actually fairly impressed. His Zatlux was all the way up to like 4,500 attack. However, he only had 60% crit rate and only like 222, I think, something like that, for his crit damage. So I opted to drop his attack a little bit more, give him the crit rate so that way he's 100% crits every time, and give him that additional crit damage. So that way it would make his teams more reliable. With that being said, he was not always winning his Queen of Tides matches. So now he will for sure win every one of his Queen of Tides matches. Now another thing to note, which I thought was funny, notice we have Gangelo on this account, but however, I could not use Gangelo in Queen of Tides. I couldn't do it. It did not work very well. And that's because the gear requirement was different than what we had for this composition, right? Like for this composition, you know and you understand that Hakron brings the defense to the table. He brings the added HP. So if I were to take out Hakron and put in Gangelo, which is the normal comp that most people run, it doesn't work. And that's just because the whole team isn't built correctly to do that. Now, yes, some of you may say, well, why don't you just build it correctly and that way he could run it? Well, unfortunately, that's where gear came into play. So he needs to be able to use this lesser team, and I shouldn't really call it a lesser team because it's a very good team. This is a very common comp that works very, very well. But unfortunately, you know, he really has to stick with this comp because he needs that gear. He needs to be able to farm the Queen of Tides 12 reliably so that way he can get that gear. Also, a few other things that I kind of noticed on the account were really his overall like utilization of how high he upgraded some of his gear. So like, for example, you'll notice these are all 12s. We got a 15 here on a brand. We got 14s on Blackhorn. There was a few others. Okay, yeah, Hakron. Notice Hakron's 15, 14, 15. So we wasted a lot of potential resources here by taking pieces of gear past 12. Now, if you guys have seen my other videos, you know that anytime you go above 12, you're essentially paying for that piece of gear 2 more times at level 12 to get to level 15. So you basically, every time you make a 15, that's 2 more level 12s you've neglected to create. That could be better than your 1 roll that you're going to get on that 15. So definitely keep that in mind and diversifying, because unfortunately we just didn't have the gear to diversify appropriately on this account to really progress the stages. However, one thing I noticed that I was actually, I was okay with it. I was really okay with it. And that was the teams worked out well with what comps I was trying to use. His Magisteria comp works well. Queen of Tides, obviously we got that buttoned up. Now it works 100% of the time. We got Roaring Tulpa. He was only at 8. We got him all the way to 12. No big deal. He does have Gangello. We are using the Gangello comp for this one. It works very quickly. It works effectively. I don't think it was even close to losing. Actually, it was very, very good. And yeah, I was very impressed with how easy this came together. The other one was Witch of the Winds. Witch of the Winds actually came together really quick. The problem I ran into was I was using, actually, let's take that out. I was actually using Brand in here. Okay, I was using Brand and Hackern. This was the team I was using, and it was almost working, but unfortunately I ran into a problem where Brand just didn't have the glyphs. So Brand was dying, his shield was not lasting, and he was dying just a little too soon. And basically, if you look at his HP here, I could only get him up to 1800 or 18k, like almost 18k HP. And that's because he just doesn't have his glyphs done. Now notice that once we get his glyphs, he'll get up another 480 there with the defense bonus. He'll get, what is it? He'll get some speed, some more attack. On the last level of glyphs, he'll get 2 more health glyphs, which that'll basically, once he gets him glyphed up, that'll put him right around that 20k mark. And I think once he hits that 20k mark, maybe just a little bit more, that'll make it to where he can do the Witch of the Winds and go ahead and progress that. Because literally the team worked well. It was just a matter of I didn't have the gear resources, and I didn't have the time to get his glyphs done. But yeah, I was impressed with that because, in my personal opinion, what the account really needs in this case is he needs to farm some Queen of Tides content. He needs to farm some Witch of the Winds. Now, for those asking why, it's for this Assassin set. I like this Assassin set. I think it's a really good set. I'm trying to get that more on my account, and also for this Faith set. This Faith set is going to be amazing for his Blackhorn. I think his Blackhorn needs this 100%. It's going to help on a lot of more content moving forward. In Raptor set, it's just nice because then you can kind of back down how much focus you have on certain pieces because, well, it's not really needed. You know what I mean? Like you'll have it because you have the Raptor set. So for example, like let's look at Gangello here. This Gangello, I was able to get him all the way up to 115k or 115% focus, which is just great. 20k HP, defense is pretty good. However, every single one of his pieces of gear I chose basically had focus on it. Well, if we could get those Raptor sets, we could ditch this gear, right? Get better substat rolls. And we could actually progress and get this guy even faster and tankier, right? Which that's essentially what you need. The faster Gangello goes, and the more tanky he goes, the better he can work for Witch of the Winds, as well as Gemini Dragon, right? Because there's a speed kind of requirement in there. So those are things that, you know, I kind of noticed on the account that it will make a difference. But the reason why I'm making this video and explaining this account takeover isn't to be like, hey, yeah, I do account takeovers. It's more because I want you guys to understand, like, here's the thought process and the breakdown. Because yeah, anyone would look at these characters, like say for example, if our boy Romper were to post his roster in like a Discord, right? They would say, oh, you have all the characters. Yeah, you should complete this content. No problem, right? You'd say, oh, well, he's got Avera, he's got Gangello, he's got this, that, and the other. Like, yeah, he's got the characters. They're solid. No, he shouldn't have any problems. You can complete all the content. Well, he can and he can't, right? So that's the thing, is like you need to kind of keep your mind open about this. Don't let other people's opinion kind of influence this, because I'm telling you, like from my point of view, from a content creator, I'm trying my best to help this guy out, but unfortunately I'm limited, right? Like, yeah, I saw he had the champions. I knew that he should be able to do this content. Unfortunately, we didn't have the gear to do it, right? We ran out of charms. The charm depletion was astounding. Like, I mean, look at how many charms I have left. And when he gave me this account, we had a lot of charms. So we've lost a lot of charms. Like, granted, I got some of them back by completing some of these upper stages, and they just give you charms. But yeah, we depleted most of those. We depleted a lot of resources just trying to get to where we're at. And as you saw, we didn't make it all the way through everything. One other thing he needs to do is he needs a guild boss team, right? Like, he's not hitting very high in the guild boss. Well, I figured out who he needs to build, but the problem is like I can't gear them. I can't get them to the right spot. He needs glyphs on William. You know what I mean? You got gear here. So when people say, yeah, you should easily be able to beat this content, take that with a grain of salt. That doesn't mean you should easily be able to take that or beat the content. It literally means you maybe have the character comp, like the character is correct, and now you need to baby step it. Okay, you need to take a step back, and you need to say, okay, if I'm going to beat this content, if I'm going to progress in this whatever the case may be, whether it's a dungeon, Void Tower is a very good example of this. And you're like, yeah, people are saying I can do this. I'm looking at the formations, right? I'm looking at the formations, and I'm going, yeah, I got that team. I can do this. Take a step back and actualize and go, okay, can I actually do this? What is actually required? In this case, for this account takeover, what is required is gear. As soon as he gets the gear, we'll be there. But a lot of players who don't have Gangello, what you're running into is, yes, you too need gear, and you need to just kind of reinvent some of the comps. Like, look at them and go, oh, I can almost do it by doing this. And that will get you further than just relying on one strategy and on one person's opinion, right? Don't look at my videos and go, yeah, that's it. Don't look at, like Andy's videos and say, yep, that's it. Or our boy Karzak, Village Shot. Like, look at everything. Take everything in as a collective and kind of filter out what you think you need to do for your account and stay positive with it. Because I know a lot of people will say, yeah, I'm struggling, and they get burnt out and they get frustrated. And that's understandable, and that's okay. But you have all these resources. You have us as content creators. You have general public, right? People on Facebook groups. The Discord, join the main Discord, links down below. My Discord, links down below. We have a lot of options to get this help and get these extra additional resources in the game. Make sure you reach out and you get them. That's the biggest thing. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about, because Romper was one of those as well, where he's like, yeah, you'll see what I need done. You can get this done. I have the champions. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't get it done because I needed the gear. But in his perspective, right, enough people have told him, you can do this, that he should be able to do it. So it's kind of an eye-opener of like, yeah, in theory, you might be able to, but definitely keep an open mind and be realistic that, hey, sometimes there are certain things that you need to take a step back, look at, and understand, okay, this is what I have to accomplish your goal. But yeah, that's it for the video. I hope this kind of helps you understand a little bit more or put things more in perspective. Like, if you're frustrated, if you're upset about where you're at in the game, on your account, you have these champions and you're not able to do this. I'm telling you from my perspective, I just did an account takeover on someone who should have no problem doing anything, right? And I had all the problems. It was not easy. I spent a lot of resources. I was not able to get as far as I wanted to. And that's just the way it rolled. Unfortunately, this is where we're going to have to leave the account for right now. But it was something that was kind of an eye-opener, because not everybody's going to understand this moving forward, and who are new into the game. And they're like, yeah, I have these champions. So hope this video helped you. I hope this put things into perspective for yourself. And I hope you have a good rest of your evening. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.